$401,137.88. Second will be vouchers for the period of August 1st to August 14th in the amount of $401,549.21.
I move that we approve the payroll claim registry for the pay period of 7/28 to 8/10 in the amount of $45,137.88. I also move that we approve the vouchers for the pay period of 8/1 through 8/14 in the amount of $401,549.21.
Second.
A motion and second to approve the payments and vouchers as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, that motion will pass. In the department reports, we'll start off with Andrew.
I don't have anything for the board of works.
Thank you. Matt.
Nothing for boards.
Thank you. Ron.
Okay, you see that I've got a letter here for the Board of Works for the Butler Fire Department for the promotion of Joseph Georgia Undertaker. They completed their 1-year probationary period as far as employees for the city, and they are eligible to be moved up to first class firefighter status. I can read that whole thing for you if you want, but basically I don't think I have it overall. But I will open it up for any questions anybody has for me about them, or any concerns or anything like that. I think they've done a fantastic job, and I'm really appreciative of what they have done in that short amount of time they've been here.
I've had time to read this and I'm completely in agreement. Should I give you a moment to read?
Yeah. Sounds good to me.
With that being said, I move to approve the pay increase for firefighters first class George and Tinker for the firefighter community here for the Wilmington Township.
A second.
Motion and second to approve the probationary first class firefighter for Georgia and Hunter Tinker. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, that motion will pass. Thank you very much.
That's all I've got.
All right, thank you. Braxton.
Yeah, so I have in front of you guys a contract. It'll say marriage service agreement at the top. I believe you guys discussed it more in my absence last with the Board of Works. But this would be us switching from All-Star as our MSP to Advanced IT. The only thing I need to check on, and we're looking for clarification, I just sent Don some of the information on All-Star's legal agreement. I just need to make sure if we need to give them a 30-day notice, a 60-day notice, and then based upon that and the finances around that is when we would start with them. Tentatively, we have it for September 2nd, being the switchover. There's gonna be some days of overlap for sure as they hand over accounts, passwords, everything, essentially all their documentation that they have on our network and moving over to them. Nate is also here if you guys have any questions on his services. He recently just added a clause to as well on 211B that we have a right to terminate the agreement if they fail to meet agreed upon benchmarks and response times. So kind of and we had a meeting today, just discussed that it's not been an issue with our discussions, but in some previous vendors, they either have different contract lengths. I mean, our phone contract length, we're kind of tied into them for the next 3 or so years. And so not having a set in stone contract length was more appropriate for this. I'm trying to move towards that in case we need to ever move off of that. It would just be, I'm just asking to replace the 6,100 that we spend with All-Star and allocating it towards them. The only exception will be, the start date changing depending on their contract, as well as if we need to pay All-Star a little bit of money during that transition, if there is overlap. So if there's a 2-week overlap, paying them for their services for 2 weeks, a month. If they have the longest contract length I could see, or a term date, I never saw anything for 90 days, maximum 60. So that would be, and I don't think that even relates to this part of their contract. So it'd be 30, 60 days. If it's 60 days, we'd probably be pushing it back a couple days to, not be paying them for excess months of service. So the goal would be a month of service at max of overlap.
You're saying monthly service at max overlap to All-Star, right?
Yes, so it's while we get them on, so they're kind of failing with some of the current projects currently. And so we need them to not only, Nate and Advanced IT Services to come in, help us clean up a lot of these messes.
Right.
Keep going forward, and then from then on, we look to be building a new network from the ground up alongside our current one. So as things are failing, we can bring them over and kind of build a whole new network that makes sense from the ground.
As far as the contract goes, we're really just talking about, we don't want to have 60, 90 days of overlap where we're paying them. But if it's a couple weeks, that's really not that big of a deal. We need, as they're transitioning out, we're grabbing passwords, we're grabbing all this information, there's gonna be some overlap.
Right.
So that Nate can also, his company can call them and say, we need all of this information from you.
Yeah.
That will be some overlap period. I mean, there's no other way to do it.
Yeah.
So,
And Don's looking into see, that's a 30 or 60 day.
I just emailed that today as well, because I was finally able to get their contract from them and get because they have a contract that kind of just displays line items. It doesn't really go into like the legalese behind the contract. And so now I was able to obtain that document, send it to Don just to make sure we're in compliance with whatever notice we need to provide. I can read a contract, I'd rather a city attorney read a contract for myself.
100% agree. So, just so I understand this, so you're asking for the approval of the $6,100 to be
Yep.
moved from All-Star to Managed Services.
Yes.
But that is contingent upon the 30, 60, 90 day notice
Yeah.
or contract terms that we have within the Don figures out. And that could potentially move the start date from September 2nd out, or we're gonna go ahead and do the September 2nd switch.
I think it's how much you guys are comfortable with. Are you guys comfortable with 2 weeks of overlap, or are you comfortable with a month? If it's, how much do we wanna allow that overlap to be? Because then if it's 90 days, we're gonna wait until we're within a month. or we're
Yeah,
within-
that's why it gets a little.
Well, let me ask this question, how much, time do you guys think that it'll take to do that transition over? 30, 60, 90 days?
Based on current, metrics, I would at least allow a month overlap.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why it's hard, is because I can kind of give general ideas of what I think it should be.
Okay.
And Nate might be even able to speak on what his general, the overlap has been before for different companies. But with them, they like to drag their feet on things. So we have to push them, and they have an obligation to do so, but you can only push so much. And
Would it make sense to kind of split that and do 45 days to do the overlap?
That should give enough time, I would think.
yeah, 45 should be enough. And I can make sure too, if it's a 60-day notice, we just don't start service until there's at least a 45-day start.
Just to be fair.
Yeah.
I think I'm okay with that. Do you have any other questions? Well, I move that we approve to make the switch over in the amount of $6,100 from our current provider, All-Star, over to Managed Services Agreement, with the contingency upon Don researching the overlap or compliance with the termination of the current agreement with All-Star, and that we give a grace period for overlap in the amount of 45 days in order to make the switch over.
Could I just amend that? It's, the company is Advanced IT
Oh, Advanced
Technology.
IT.
You just said managed
Oh,
service
yeah.
agreement. I don't know if it matters.
Yes, we'll make this, or redact the managed services agreement to, Advanced IT LLC, to make that switch over to.
I second.
I'm not gonna repeat all that, so I'm just gonna, motion and second to approve the switch over from All-Star to Advanced IT as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, that motion passed. Is that it, Jackson?
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Andy?
From our last meeting, I was gonna get you a price on all the hydrant repairs. That came back roughly $3,000. Some of the parts are already ordered. As soon as they come in, I'll install them. That's all I have for you.
Thank you. Yeah,
I have nothing for more work.
thank you. Don? Nothing for the board works. Thank you. Angela?
I have nothing for the board works.
Thank you. Tracy, everything?
I have nothing.
Thanks. I have nothing. As well, I have one on the spoil for everybody. You have a special event request from the Refuge Church for an event coming up on September 13th. The event is called Serve Our City. They go around their residents that need help. Do some projects with them, kind of like a United Employee Day of Caring within their own church. So we just need approval for that.
I move that we approve the Serve Our City event, for the Refuge Church on the event date of 9/13/2025 in the Refuge Park.
I second.
Have a motion and second to approve the special event request as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, that motion will pass. Anybody in the audience have anything for the board? Okay, entertaining motion to adjourn.
So moved.
6:43, we will start back up at 7 o'clock.